Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Class 6, open your books, page number 15. Today we'll start our lesson number 2, The Ransom of Red Chief. It's very interesting lesson. It's about an adventure of two people who just kidnapped one boy whose hairs were red, and so they gave him the name Red Chief, and they were going to ask for ransom against this boy. So what happened in the story and how they have to face the situation, we will see in the lesson. So look on the lesson. We were down south in Alabama, Bill Driscoll and myself. There were two people, Bill and the writer, when this kidnapping idea struck us. Bill and me had about $600 and we needed just $2,000 more to buy some land in western Illinois. We figured that family love is strongest in semi-rural communities and decided to do our kidnapping in Summit, a small town. These two persons, Bill and the writer, they decided to kidnap a boy to get some money. So they decided to do this one in some rural area, in some village area, because as we know that in Europe the family bonding is not so strong. So the people don't love each other just like we love in our family. But they decided to do this kidnapping in the village area because they thought that the village people love better more than the people who are living in the city areas. So they made a plan to kidnap a boy in some village. Its name was Summit. We selected for our victim the only child of a prominent citizen named Ebenezer Dorset. Mr. Dorset was known for his wealth, which he made from lending, mortgage, and making foreclosures. The kid was a boy of 10 with freckles and bright red hair. Bill and me figured that Ebenezer would agree to pay a ransom of $2,000. But wait till I tell you what happened. So they selected a boy of a rich person of the village, of the area. He was a landlord and his business was just to lend the people money. And this foreclosure also is relating to that business, a term that if the people who took the loan, he was unable to give the money back, the owner will take the person who has given loan, he can take back the property of that person. So the boy was of 10 years old, and here is the description, his physical description in these lines. And they thought that if they kidnap the boy, and his father will give them the money they demand for that boy. About 2 miles from Summit was a little tree-covered mountain. On the rear slope of this mountain was a cave. There we stored provisions. It was the destination of these two men. They have made a safer place for themselves. There was a cave in the mountain. So they put all their things in that mountain, and they also decided that cave for their kidnapping program. One evening we drove in a buggy past old Dorset's house. The kid was in the street throwing rocks at the kitten on the opposite fence. The child was playing outside the house in the street. "Hey," said Bill, "would you like some candy?" The boy threw a piece of brick at Bill's head. Instead of giving him any reply, the boy who was throwing the stones on the kittens, he also threw a stone on the head of Bill. That boy put up a fight, but eventually we got him in the buggy and drove up to the cave. After dark, I drove the buggy back to the village I had hired it in and walked back. They took the boy in a buggy. Actually, it's a cart driven by the horses. They took the boy with the help of that buggy, but later on, one person of them came back to the village to return that buggy and that they had hired. Bill was examining and treating the scratches and bruises on his face and legs. There was fire burning in the cave, and the boy was sitting by it, with two buzzard tail feathers stuck in his red hair. He points a stick at me and says, "Ha, cursed paleface, do you dare to enter Red Chief's camp?" "He is all right now," says Bill. "We are playing Red Indian. I am old Hank, Red Chief's captive, and I am to be scalped at daybreak. Ouch, that kid can kick hard." They are describing that what they are doing now in the cave. They are sitting in the cave, and the person, Bill, he received some injuries on his legs and face during the fight with that boy when they kidnapped that boy. He was examining himself, and later on they were playing the game, cards, such type of the game with the cards, and there they have the different names. Here are the description of the game. The boy was not worried even with them, and he was calling them with the names, and he was also saying that he will have to be scalped at the daybreak in the morning if he lose, or whatever the end will be of the game. That boy seemed very happy. The fun of camping out had made him forget that he was a captive. He immediately named me Snake Eye, the spy, and announced that I was to meet my aunt the next day. Then we had supper, and he filled his mouth full of meat, bread, and gravy and talked. His speech went something like this. As all lines shows that the boy did not worry about anything. He was much happy while camping outside the house, and he was just talking with them and eating very joyfully. And here are some words of his speech. "I never camped out before. It's fun, but I had a pet once, and I was 9 last birthday. Are there any real Red Indians in these woods? I want some more gravy. Do the moving trees make the wind blow? We had 5 puppies. What make your nose so red, Hank? My father has lots of money. Are the stars hot? Do oxen make any noise?" This is the name of the animal. "Why are orange round? A parrot can talk, but a monkey or a fish can't." These are the just like innocent talk of the child. He is talking on different topics time to time. It shows that he is just relaxed and enjoying his visit. Every few minutes he would remember that he was Red Indian and would let out a war whoop that made old Hank shiver. The boy had Bill terrorized from the start. Bill was afraid of that boy because he was quite a courageous boy, and he was even fighting with Bill, and he was quite a healthy boy, and he can kick very hard. Even Bill got bruises during his kidnapping. "I say, kid, would you like to go home?" "Oh, what for?" said he. "I don't have any fun at home. I hate school. I like camping. You won't take me home? Snake Eye, will you?" "Not right away," say I. "Yea," say he, "I never had such fun in all my life." He refused to go back home. He told them that "I am enjoying here with you. I have never spent such a night and the camping." So he wanted to stay there. At about 11 o'clock, we spread down some white blankets and went to bed. Red Chief kept us awake for 3 hours, jumping up and reaching for his rifle and screeching in our ear as each or a crackle of a twig or the rustle of the leaf made him imagine that outlaws were approaching. At last I fell into a troubled sleep and dreamed that I had been kidnapped and changed to a tree by a ferocious pirate with red hair. This boy made them awake even for 3 hours later on also. He was just worried that maybe some outlaws, the people whom the laws did not affect, they are the excluded from the law, they are coming, or he was just afraid of some other things, that some if there are some type of the noise outside the cave, he was afraid, and he also kept them awake for a long time, and later on at least they went asleep. And even at the sleep time, the 2 men, they were not easy in their sleep time even. And just at daybreak, when there was a morning, I was awakened by awful screams from Bill. He was again there creating any trouble. The Bill was shouting early in the morning when the other person awakened. I jumped up to see what the matter was. Red Chief was sitting on Bill's chest, holding him by the hair. In his other hand, he had the sharp knife, and he was seriously trying to take Bill's scalp, as he had promised the evening before. As they were playing the game before evening, and he said that tomorrow he will get his end, and he will scalp his head. So today he is ready to do this one. It's very terrifying. I got the knife away from the kid and made him lie down again, but from that moment Bill's spirit was broken. He laid down on his side of the bed, but he never closed an eye again in sleep as long as that boy was with us. He was quite afraid from the boy, and even he could not sleep afterwards. Ain't it awful, Sam? No one will pay money to get a little imp like that back. He said that no one will pay the money